My girlfriend said, "You are not ambitious." I replied, "Then we are done." Then I made a quiet plan, doubled my small clinic, got engaged to a surgeon, and I just smiled because her family reappeared when they heard I opened a second clinic. Original post: I am 32. My ex-girlfriend, Hannah, is 30. We were together a little over 3 years. No kids. I own a small dental practice in a mid-sized city, not a chain. Just me, one hygienist, one assistant, and a receptionist. She works as a project manager for a local marketing firm. When we met, my practice was only a year old. The paint still smelled fresh. Some days the chairs were full. Some days I saw 2 patients and went home early. Money was tight. I drove an old sedan and wore the same 2 pairs of dress shoes until they gave up. Hannah said she liked that I was steady. She teased me about my early bedtimes and my neat kitchen. She met me when I was eating instant noodles between patients and still paying off student loans. I told her my plan: grow slowly, pay debt, build trust, add another dentist one day. Her parents were different. Her dad ran a construction company. Her mom had never worked outside the home. They liked big gestures, new cars, expensive vacations. They called themselves old school, but really they were just loud. At first they were polite. Her mom said I had kind eyes. Her dad shook my hand too hard and asked how much dentists really make. He said it like a joke, but he did not laugh after. The first time I felt something shift was before a Sunday dinner at their house. Hannah was quiet in the car. She kept checking her phone. At a red light, she said, "Just so you know, my parents worry about security. They ask a lot of questions. Please do not get offended." "About what?" I asked. "Future," she said. "Kids, house, the usual." I nodded. That sounded normal, but her tone felt off, tight, like there was more she was not saying. At their house, everything smelled like roasted meat and perfume. Her dad poured wine before we even sat down. Her mom pulled Hannah aside in the kitchen. Their voices dropped low. I caught my name in a whisper. The same tight feeling in my chest grew. At the table, conversation started light. Work, weather. Then her dad set his fork down and looked straight at me. "So," he said, 3 years together, you 2 living like a married couple. What is your plan for the next 5? Hannah's hand froze on her glass. I talked about the practice, how I had paid down a good chunk of my loans, how I was saving to buy the unit next door when the lease came up so I could add another operatory and maybe a partner. He frowned. "So you are staying small," he said. "You are okay being just a neighborhood dentist." "Dad," Hannah said, quick. "It is an honest question," he said. "You seem comfortable, a little too comfortable. Our daughter grew up with ambition. She deserves someone who can offer more than a strip mall office." Her mom put a hand on his arm. "What your father means," she said, "is that we worry. Dentistry is fine, but you are not. Pushing, no big clinic, no specialization, no plan to move to a better area." I felt heat rise in my face, but my voice stayed even. "I have a plan," I said. "It just does not move at the speed of a TV ad. Dentistry is slow build, trust, not billboards. I'm not trying to flip the practice like a house." Her dad snorted. "Sounds like excuses to stay small," he said. "Hannah, we talked about this. You need a partner who is hungry. You are wasting prime years." That word sat heavy. Wasting. I looked at Hannah. She would not meet my eyes. Her cheeks were pink. She said nothing. Her silence said more than any word. Something in me went quiet. I finished my food. I made small talk. I helped clear plates. I thanked her mom for dinner, all on autopilot. Back at my apartment, Hannah tried to make small jokes about parents being dramatic. I nodded. I did not argue. I told her I was tired and needed to look over schedules for the week. When she left, I sat at my small desk in the corner of my living room. I pulled up my practice management software. Then I opened a blank spreadsheet and titled it, "Next 5 years." Rows, columns, numbers, not talking, not defending myself, just planning. That was my first action. Update 1, I did not bring up that dinner for a while. I wanted to see if it was a one-time thing, maybe too much wine and old habits. I watched instead. In the next weeks, little comments slipped in. Her mom asked, "Have you thought about specializing? Orthodontists make more no." She said it while staring at my old car in the driveway. Her dad joked, "Do you at least get us a family discount on crowns, or is that asking too much of the neighborhood dentist?" At social events, when people asked what I did, I said, "I run my own dental practice." proud, simple. Her dad would add, still small though, he is young. Still figuring it out. Hannah would squeeze my hand but not correct him. One Friday, she came over after work with takeout. We ate on the couch. Halfway through a movie, she paused it. My parents are worried, she said. I know, I said. They just want to make sure I am taken care of, she said. They said you do not seem very ambitious, that you are content. And you, I asked, what do you think? She hesitated too long. I love you, she said, but I also want a certain life, travel, a nice house, kids in good schools. My dad says you are thinking too small. He asked me if you were ever going to grow beyond one little office. I stared at the blank TV screen. I am building something that lasts, I said. If that is not enough for them, fine, but I need to know if it is enough for you. She bit her lip. I do not know, she said. I thought by now you would have expanded. I paid off $200,000 in loans, I said. I built a stable, patient base from nothing. I work 6 days a week. That is not lazy. I did not say lazy, she said, just not very ambitious. The word landed like a slap. I did not yell, I did not beg, I just said, okay, then we should sit down with them together. I want to hear this from their mouths with you in the room, no side talks. She looked nervous. Why? She asked. Because I am not going to keep dating someone whose parents are quietly planning my replacement, I said. If I am not enough, say it plain. 2 days later, I drove to their house. This time I wore my white coat over my shirt, not for drama, for clarity, for myself. We sat at the dining table again, no food, just water glasses. I asked for this, I said. Last dinner you said some things that made it clear you do not see me as good enough for Hannah. I want to hear directly. What is the issue? Her dad did not dodge. Fine, he said. You are comfortable being small. Hannah grew up in a house where we always looked for the next step. You own one tiny practice and drive a 10-year-old car. Where is the hunger? Hannah stared at her hands. I own a profitable practice at 32, I said. I am almost done with my loans. I have a plan to expand when it makes sense, but this is not about numbers. This is about you wanting a son-in-law you can brag about at golf. Her mom flinched. You are sensitive, her dad said. We just think our daughter deserves more. She could do better. There it was, said plain. I turned to Hannah. Do you agree? I asked. She swallowed. I think you are a good man, she said, but I do want more. My parents have a point. I'm not sure your path lines up with mine. That hurt more than anything her dad had said. I sat back. The room buzzed in my ears. Okay, I said. Her mom reached out. We are not saying you are bad, she said. Just maybe not the right person for our girl long term. You can still be friends. I do not do half measures, I said. Hannah, if you are not in this fully, we are done. I am not going to audition for your parents. She started crying. Can we take time to think, she said. I have thought enough, I said. My voice was calm. It surprised even me. You just answered. I stood up. No slammed chairs, no curse words. I looked at her parents. Thank you for saying it clearly, I said. You think I am not ambitious enough for your daughter. Understood. I left the house with my white coat over my arm. In the driveway, I heard her dad say, she will thank us later. Maybe she would, maybe she would not. Either way, they had just freed me. Update 2, the breakup itself was quiet. Hannah came by my apartment the next day. She had a small bag of my things from her place. A sweatshirt, a toothbrush, a mug we had bought together. She put the bag on the table. I am sorry, she said. I love you, but I cannot fight my parents on this forever. They want me with someone more driven, and I kind of agree. Then there is nothing to fight about, I said. I hope you get everything you think you want, she cried. I did not. We hugged once at the door, then she walked down the hall without looking back. That was it. 3 years folded into one small bag and a cracked goodbye. I gave myself a week to feel hollow, went to work, came home, lay on the couch, stared at the ceiling. No grand speeches, just quiet. Then I opened that next 5 years spreadsheet again. I booked a meeting with my accountant. We went over numbers. He showed me that if I tightened some expenses and took a small loan, I could buy the empty unit next door when the lease came up in 8 months. It would double my space. It will hurt for a year, he said, but you can do it. I also booked a consult with a personal trainer. My hours had turned me soft, stress weight, takeout. If I was going to preach health to patients, I wanted to live it myself, so my days became simple. Morning workouts, full schedules at the clinic. evenings running numbers and planning renovations instead of scrolling through old photos of Hannah. Outside my life, their version of the story grew teeth. One mutual friend told me that Hannah's parents had said I could not handle adult pressure and ran away when asked about the future. Someone else said her mom called me a nice starter boyfriend. I did not argue with them. I did not send angry texts. I just said, they are allowed to think what they want, and went back to my charts. The only time I acted was when a patient who happened to be a friend of Hannah's mom sat in my chair and said, "I heard you are not sure how long you will keep the practice." Such a shame, you are good with the kids. That was a lie, a dangerous one. If people thought I was unstable, they might drift. After she left, I wrote down exactly what she had said. Then I called a lawyer a fellow dentist had recommended. I told him the story. The dinner. The breakup, the comment. "If this is just gossip, we ignore it," he said. "If they start telling people you are closing or unstable, that is interfering with your business. We can send a polite but firm letter reminding them of defamation laws." We drafted a short letter. No threats, just a clear line: do not make false statements about my practice. I never found out exactly what he said in his call to their house. But the sideways comments stopped. Patients stopped bringing up my personal life. Hannah's parents found other topics. Meanwhile, my practice grew. I extended hours by one evening a week. Hired another hygienist. Joined a local parents group and offered free dental talks for kids. Not flashy, just solid. 6 months after the breakup, I sighed and signed the loan papers for the unit next door. We knocked a wall down. The smell of drywall dust and new paint filled the air again. On the day we opened the second operatory, my receptionist brought in donuts. We took a photo, me in scrubs, hair messed up from a long morning, tired eyes but smiling. I posted it on my tiny personal account with one line. We grew. No hashtags, no speeches about proving anyone wrong, but I knew. And a few people who had heard the dinner story knew too. Update 3: a year after that last dinner, things looked different. The practice was busy. I had dropped to 5 days a week because there were now 2 associates splitting hours. I had lost weight, not in a broken way, in a healthy, slow way. My back hurt less. My scrubs fit better. I also was not single. 6 months after the breakup, a local plastic surgeon started referring patients for dental clearance before surgery. Her name was Dr. Priya. She ran a clinic across town. At first our contact was just notes and calls. Then one day she stopped by the office to drop off some paperwork in person. We ended up talking in the hallway for 20 minutes about difficult patients and insurance. She had the same steady energy I liked, focused, calm, not obsessed with surface, even though her field was all about it. We started getting coffee after work sometimes. Then dinner. Then it was not just the plastic surgeon who refers to me. It was my girlfriend, Priya. One Saturday morning, we were at a farmer's market when I heard my name. I turned. Hannah and her mom were there, holding tote bags. Hannah looked almost the same, a little thinner. A little tired around the eyes. Her mom looked exactly as I remembered, controlled hair, sharp eyes. They both did a double take when they saw me with Priya. 2 doctors, casual clothes, laughing over tomatoes. "Hi," Hannah said. Her voice shook just a bit. "Hi," I said. Her mom smiled too wide. "We heard your little practice expanded," she said. 2 units now, yes, so nice to see your ambition finally woke up." Priya glanced at me. I could feel her reading the air. "We did expand," I said. "It is going well." Her mom's eyes flicked to Priya's business card in her hand. "And you are?" she asked. "Priya," she said. "I am a plastic surgeon. I refer some patients to his office." Her mom's smile went tight around the edges. "Oh," she said. "Another doctor, very impressive." Hannah cleared her throat. "Could we maybe catch up sometime?" she asked me. "Coffee, just to talk." Instead of answering right there, I said, "If you want to reach out, email the office. I keep my personal life and work life pretty simple." Her mom frowned a little at that word, simple. That afternoon, an email came in, not to the general inbox, to my old personal address. "Hey," it said, "it was good seeing you. My parents talk all the time now about how proud they are that you have grown. They say they misjudged you. Maybe we could meet and clear the air." I read it twice, then 3 times. My main feeling was not anger, it was fatigue. I wrote back once. If you want closure, we can speak for 15 minutes at a cafe near my office, public place. No talk about getting back together. I will not be reconnecting beyond that. If you bring your parents, I will not stay. She replied, okay, just me, thank you. We met 2 days later. She was there first, hands around a cup of tea. She looked nervous. Thanks for coming, she said. I sat. You said you wanted to talk, I said. She took a breath. My parents were wrong, she said. About you, about everything. When they found out you had opened a second location and that you were seeing a surgeon, they realized what they lost. They kept saying we did not know he had that in him. I raised an eyebrow. They still think in those terms, I said. Like I suddenly grew ambition because my practice has another door. She flushed. I know, she said. I wanted to say I am sorry. I listened to them more than to you. I cared too much about their version of success. I see now how arrogant it was. I appreciate the apology, I said. My tone stayed calm. She swallowed. Do you ever think about us, she asked. About trying again. We have more in common now. We both have careers. My parents see your potential. There it was, not even hidden. No, I said. She blinked. That is it, she said. That is it, I said. Hannah, I did not expand my practice to win over your parents. I did it because I wanted a better life and better care for my patients. Their approval does not matter to me now. Yours does not either in that way. Her eyes filled. So you really moved on, she said. Yes, I said. I am with someone who liked me when she first met me, not when her parents changed their mind. She nodded slowly. Tears slipped down her face. I am happy for you, she said. I wish I had stood up for you. I wish you had too, I said, but that is past. Please do not contact me again. It is not healthy for either of us. She sniffed, laughed once without humor. My parents are going to be furious, she said. They thought I could just slide back in. They are free to be mad, I said. It does not change my answer. I stood. She stayed seated, staring at her tea. Walking out, I felt like someone had finally put a period at the end of a sentence that had been running on too long. Final update, it has been 2 years since that cafe meeting. I am now 34. The practice has 2 locations. The second one opened 6 months ago near a growing suburb. I spend half the week at each. We have 3 associates now, a small team, not a giant chain. Not a TV ad, just solid work. Money is better. My loans are gone. I drive a car that starts every time and does not rattle. I still pack my own lunch most days. Priya and I are engaged. I proposed quietly in our living room. No fancy setup, no audience, just us, soft music, and a ring I paid for in full. She said yes, then asked if we could keep it off social media for a while. I loved her more in that moment than I thought possible. Her parents like me, not because of my income, because I treat their daughter well and show up when I say I will. They came to tour the new clinic and asked genuine questions about how many patients we see and how we handle emergencies. Not once did they ask if I was thinking big enough. Every now and then, I hear small bits about Hannah's family. They are still in the same house. Her dad's business took a hit when the market slowed. He sold one of his trucks. Her mom took a part-time job at a boutique to stay busy. Someone said Hannah is dating a banker now. Someone her parents approve of on paper. I hope he is kind to her. I mean that. I do not want her ruined. Just far away from my life. I do not follow her. I do not check her accounts. Sometimes her face pops up in people you may know. I scroll past without thinking too hard. The younger patients at my clinic sometimes talk about ambition. They say they feel pressure to be huge by 30. I smile and tell them slow growth still counts. One teenager asked if I had always known I wanted 2 clinics. No, I said. I just knew I wanted to do my job well and sleep at night. The rest came from that. Sometimes, late at night, I remember that first dinner, the way her dad said wasting and small, the way Hannah looked down instead of at me. Then I look around our home. A few framed photos, a stack of patient charts on my bag. Priya's notes for surgery consults on the table next to mine. I do not feel anger anymore, just a quiet distance. Their approval used to feel like a gate I had to pass to build a life with their daughter. Now I know I never needed that gate. I just needed to keep my head down, do the work, and choose someone whose love did not come with a performance review. They once decided I was not ambitious enough for their family. Now, when I lock up the second clinic at night, turn off the lights and hear the echo of my own footsteps in a place I built, I realized something simple. Their opinion was too small for my life.